Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Thanks for coming back for another episode of Damien Ruins Horror Movies. My name is Damien. As usual, this episode is brought to you by Cool Dude Inc., so go down in the description, click the link, and go make yourself look good. Tonight's movie is The Prey from 1983, not to be confused with that new Predator movie on Hulu. Stick around to the end for survival tips, the Badass Award, and final thoughts. But first, let's kick it off with the Whiskey Bet, so you can listen to on Spotify, iTunes, and click the link below to check out their YouTube channel. This film opens with a fire that took place in like 1948, and then we sit through like 2 minutes of credits until we come to present day, 1980. An older couple are camping until they get killed, axed to death. You can hear a heartbeat as it happens. Next, we got some teenagers on their way to a camping trip. And did they not have car stereos in the early 80s? Because I swear, every time there's some kind of road trip with teenagers in the early 80s, they're always like doing some kind of sing-along.
Oh, roll your leg over, oh, roll your leg over, oh, roll your leg over, the man is on board.
And apparently filming bugs is like great cinematography, which in that Shudder movie, Revenge, it was pretty beautiful and looked cool there, but I'm just not really feeling it in this movie. In this movie, it just kind of looks like the cameraman's high and trailing off and just easily entertained. They get to the place, and while the guys are getting the park permits, the girls are sitting at the van and they meet the park ranger, Mark.
What you want, Grizzly Adams?
Which is a great way for the film to introduce us to these girls, Bobby, Gail, and Nancy. But it's funny because they're all like really into, like they think that old Mark is hot. He's like 40 something. These girls are supposed to be like college babes. And apparently filming animals and reptiles is also great cinematography. You know, because I don't know, it just makes you feel like you're there. And on the way to the site, the guys, Skip, Joel, and Greg, they kind of plot how they're going to rape their girlfriends that night. Which is kind of weird because they're all sitting back and chilling 1 second. And then, like, they all get up and start hiking together again, where it's like, what? It looked like they had privacy and they were already there. But, like, if your girl doesn't want to have sex with you, how about you just respect her wishes and don't like make up some scheme? Like you're going to wait for her to go to sleep. Or whatever the fuck these guys thought they were going to do. And in the distance, you can once again hear that lingering heartbeat. It symbolizes to the viewer that shit is going down. They take a pit stop and Gail bitches at her boyfriend Greg.
I told you to break in your boots before the trip.
Told you to break your boots in before the trip. A lot of good that does me now, you asshole.
But we later learned that his dad's worth $50 million. But maybe their relationship wasn't always that way.
On the surface, it looks like she's a 9 and he's a 4. So he's going to deal with whatever she dishes out. But sometimes looks have nothing to do with it. Girls lash out on easygoing guys as a form of manipulation. She gets what she wants, and he'll keep his mouth shut, right or wrong. Bottling that shit up. Slowly becoming a ghost in that relationship.
They leave Gail behind as they head to the spot. She's convinced something's after them. The way that Skip and Joel dismiss Gail kind of gives you like this feeling that they've already been there, done that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, shit.
So now she's stuck with Greg's goofy ass. Millions are not. When they finally get to the spot to set up camp, they find an old tobacco pipe. It's the old guy from the beginnings. They're in that same spot. That night around the fire, Greg drops some scientific astrology knowledge.
And they're being continually chased by Orion, the giant hunter. And you can recognize him. That doodad is his belt and the whatchamacallit is his dagger. I don't know what the fuck you just said, little kid.
There's not really like an emphasis on drugs or alcohol. You don't see them drinking. They're kind of passing that pipe around, which looks like a tobacco pipe. But like the guys, mainly the guys, seem like they're getting more and more fucked up as the night goes, especially when Joel starts telling his camp story. Skip scares the shit out of Bobby, so he ain't getting none tonight. All that rape planning for nothing. And after everyone else goes to sleep, Greg and Gail get killed. But first, we get some boobies! And then the killer takes their bodies and all their belongings. So in the morning, the others assume that they just bailed, which is weird because they all arrived in the same van. So the others do take the time to kind of look for them, to no avail. Except Nancy finds a tree with blood on it, and somehow doesn't say anything to anybody about it. Lester gets a call from the police about the old couple from the opening of the movie. You know, those campers that got killed. Mark comes in with some cucumber sandwiches, and they talk, and Lester goes over the origin of that fire from the opening. Apparently the fire killed a bunch of gypsies except for one little boy. And it took place up at North Point, where all the campers go and disappear, where the old couple camped, where the college kids are now. Why wouldn't they just close that area down? You know, I mean, granted, then we wouldn't have a movie, but it's, hey, another group disappeared from that area. That's weird. Should I go look for them? That's so dumb. Like if you didn't realize this movie was dumb before, now this is kind of the point where it's like, this movie's stupid. There's no way that would happen. People disappear and they would just keep letting people get, especially because it's not like they snuck up there. They went and got permits. Can I get a permit for that spot where everybody disappears? Yeah, hold on. What the fuck? But Mark agrees to go up there and check it out. He's going to camp up there. See what he can see what he can find, see who's there. And Lester tells him, take that 30-06 with you. He's like, no, I won't need it. But I will take some tranquilizer darts with me. So apparently the whole goal of this couple's retreat was they were going to go rappelling down the side of like a mountain, which Skip and Joel do. Joel goes first. And while he's doing it, the killer finds Skip and kills him, leaving Joel hanging, literally, until the killer cuts him down. The girls hear him scream, so in record time, they climb to the top of the mountain and they find Skip's corpse. Nancy goes and checks it out. Bonnie starts puking. Bonnie's kind of a bitch. Not like a bitch, but like a bitch, like a sissy. Like when Skip scared her, she passed out. Now she sees Skip's dead and she just starts vomiting. Like Nancy's like checking him for vital signs and all that stuff. It's not even her boyfriend. Fuck you, Bobby. But then they see the killer, so they take off running and they're screaming, and Mark is in the distance. He can hear them. So he starts moving towards the sound. But I forgot to mention, Mark has already found Gail and Greg's remains. And now, I don't know, he's seeing vultures like plucking at him. And he's looking like he wishes he had a 30-06 because like it's the vultures' fault they died. It's like, oh, you fucking vultures. I can't believe you did this. And the vulture's like, bro, we're scavenging. The bodies were already dead. But then when it kind of zooms in on Gail's face and then it like pans back to Mark and Gail meeting, like we don't know who the fuck Gail is. So as Nancy and Bobby are running, Bobby steps into a rope trap and gets slung up. I've said this before. I'll say it again. 70s and 80s shows and movies had me thinking at some point in my life, as a kid watching them, I'm going to get stuck in a rope trap at some point in my life. Me or somebody close to me are going to be upside down, and hopefully we're not alone so one of us can save the other. As I was watching this, I felt like Nancy had all the ingredients to be the final girl. But once she's in trouble, Mark saves her. He shoots the madman with a tranquilizer dart. And then he finishes him off with a stick. He clubs him, but he doesn't make sure he's dead. And we get a final scare as the madman kills Mark. The madman has mercy on Nancy as he puts his hands around her and carries her. And then through the magical art of this beautiful cinematography of this film, we watch the seasons pass. And as it ends, it zooms in on a cave, and we can hear the sound of a baby, indicating that the madman raped Nancy and started his own little deformed gypsy family. The end. Okay, so this movie was bad, but it's short, It's fairly short and it's a quick watch. And more than anything, I felt like this movie was just trying to talk you out of going camping. And fuck the killer. What about all the wild animals and insects and reptiles everywhere? I felt like 20% of this movie, they were just filming that. It reminds me of a comedian. I can't remember who it was. In the 90s, he said, I have a home. Why would I want to go out in the woods and pretend that I don't? The Tubi description cracks me up because it reads, a camping trip in the California mountains turns terrifying for a group of 3 teenage couples who are stalked by a disfigured man with an axe. For a movie about a madman that kills people with an axe, there's very little axe kills. They should have called it Couples Killer. The Badass Award goes to Mark for saving Nancy. But his dumbass should have brought the 30-06 instead of just tranquilizer darts, and maybe he wouldn't be dead now. And maybe she wouldn't be forced to have deformed gypsy babies now. What did we learn?
Survival tales.
Don't camp alone if you're old as shit. Don't investigate weird sounds in the woods by yourself. If you see blood on or near a tree, tell somebody. Take the 30-06 with you. Always, always take the 30-06 with you.
If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe and check out some of my other videos and share with a friend. Tell a friend to share with another friend. And until next time, I will see you guys later.